What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So today I wanted to start getting into Smite 2 guides.
Turn it up.
The game is going to change dramatically over the course of the next year, maybe even the next month. They have announced aspects as of today, recording this video. Aspects are going to be a choice you can make at the beginning of the game to change your character to be played a different style. So that will be something we cover as they become more finalized and are put into the actual game. The stuff I want to teach you today is current way to play the god, each god, every god, between builds, positioning, team fighting, roles, all the core general stuff that people new to Smite 2 are trying to figure out, people that change roles want to figure out, or people that just aren't understanding the game right now, which is perfectly fine. It's new, a lot has changed. It does feel similar to Smite 1, but at the same time, it is not a direct port of Smite 1. Damage is different, positioning is slightly different sometimes, building is dramatically different. I think that scares people. That's why we have Smite Source. Smite Source has lots and lots of builds for you to try to figure out and not be intimidated by the strength and intelligence stats. They're the people that are over exaggerating them and acting like they're a bad change don't understand them and are thinking too much, to be brutally honest. And that's why I have the website, so you don't have to think. You can get on, play the game, pick one of the builds, try it. If it doesn't work, try the next one, find one that works, and then just spam run it. And then when I update it, you can spam run that build. And that's kind of the idea. So I wanted to start off with Nemesis. I know Nemesis isn't the newest. I just feel like she is confusing for some people. So we'll get into it, we'll talk about it, and I'll try to make it as straightforward as possible for you guys. So the leveling guide is on Smite Source. All right, you are maxing your 2 first, you're then maxing your ult, you're then maxing your 3, you're then maxing your 1. Now, while I'm hovering over these abilities, I want to do a quick breakdown for each of these guys to make sure you understand. So if you see the scaling on the 1, it says 35% strength right there at the top, so second line. That means it scales off of strength. Strength does not mean the type of damage you do. That does not mean physical or magical. If you hover over the little auto attack part of your god, this shows what type of damage you do at the top. So your auto attacks, that type of damage that is doing is the type of damage your character is going to do. So that is regardless of strength or intellect. Then all auto attacks scale off of both stats, strength and intelligence. 100% of your strength will turn into auto attack damage, while also 20% of your intelligence will turn into auto attack damage. But no matter what, the full type of damage for Nemesis is physical damage. On another god, this might be magical damage. So you can see at the top, it says deal physical damage to an enemy in front of you. That's how you know, okay? Now to get deeper into Nemesis, I started on this one on purpose. Roll with it, just hear me out here. So if you look at Slice and Dice, your second ability, same ability as in Smite 1. You do a little cone, slammer, jammer, whatever. You see at the top, it says scaling is 40% strength plus 25% int. That means this ability is going to do, it says it right after, physical damage, and it'll do physical damage based on that core 180 damage, that the beginning number, plus whatever 40% of your strength is, plus whatever 25% of your int is. It'll add that number up. So whatever that number is, I'll add it up, and then you will do physical damage, okay? See the scaling version of it right below it. You can see on your 3 has different types of scaling. Your 3 heals you more based on how much intelligence you have. Your 3 also reflects more damage based on how much strength you have. Then we get to the ultimate. The ultimate is also double scaling. 45% of your strength turns into more current health. 65% of your intelligence turns into more current health. Don't worry about the specifics when you are playing this game for fun. I'm just breaking it down. So if you are trying to figure it out, it's not as confusing as you make it out to be. I promise you, it's not. You build strength or int based on the build and what your character scales off of. You do physical or magical damage based on your character, period. So the character either does one or the other, okay? Just so we know that. All right, now that you know Nemesis is a potentially hybrid scaling god, I wanted to go in and cover builds before we start talking about positioning. So Nemesis on Smite Source. So if you go to gods and you pull up Nemesis, this will come up. If you are having trouble bringing up the website for some reason, it is because you have never cleared your cookies before and you have stored cookies from the original Smite source from 10 years ago. So please try it on a different browser or just clear your cookies. It's really not that hard. So I have updated builds on Nemesis. You have an auto attack jungle build, you have an ability intel build, and you have an ability strength build. If you remember back in Smite 1, Nemesis was core an ability strength character. Couldn't build intellect at all, and really only kind of played auto attack, something more towards the end, more auto attack, but was very core ability based. So I want to cover this one. Here's your all the gods that can run this build. This is just a very basic, this is like OG Smite 1 build essentially in my eyes. You have Jotuns, Transcendence, same Transcendence, Crusher, little different, doesn't have attack speed now, instead has cooldown reduction. Hydras, same Hydras without pen. Smite 1 had pen, doesn't anymore. Titans, same Titans bane. And then we have a new item from Smite 1 to Smite 2, Pendulum Blade. This ability reduces all your cooldowns by 3 seconds. So they have to be on cooldown. You have to use them, then pop this, and it reduces them all. It'll bring them back up, whatever it is. Then we have Combat Blink. Always run Combat Blink. We'll talk about it when we talk about positioning. So this is just a standard strength build. I'm not going to get too into this. This should be very straightforward for you if you played Smite 1, or if you haven't, if you're new to the game, this is just a basic, I'm going to scale off of strength build. This is a build that is far more interesting to me because this is new. This is why strength and intelligence is exciting and fun and shouldn't be scary. Never in a million years in Smite 1 do we think you would build intellect and it would work. Never in a million years would you build bow stats. In this build, we start off with Bumba's Hammer, same as normal. Then into Transcendence. So you're thinking, oh, maybe just you want to get Transcendence stacks online, you're going to go strength build. No. We're building Transcendence because it increases your mana by a lot and gives you a lot of stacks based on your mana. Then we're building Thoth, which does the same thing but gives you int instead. So these two scale each other dramatically. Then we are going into Pen. Pen in Smite 2 is crazy important. We are getting flat pen from both of these. Remember that. That's rare. Rare as a jungler, you can have any flat pen right now. In this case, you have 20, which is sick. Then we're building percent pen. Then we're building intelligence, a heavy amount of intelligence with cooldown. Then we are building Staff of Mirrodin, which is similar to that Pendulum Blade from the strength build, but it works a little differently. In the strength build, you use your abilities, then you pop the, I always forget the name of the item, pop the item. For the intel build, you have to use this before you use your ability, and then you will instantly be able to use your ability again. So for Staff of Mirrodin, you would essentially use your opening combo, which is your ult or whatever, and then as soon as you get on your target and you want to use your 2, you would pop Staff of Mirrodin, then you would 2, and it would come right back up and you would use it again. So you'd have 2 instant burst. And in reality, if you wanted to get spicy with your build and do more damage and maybe drop some pen because it's Nemesis, this last item could become Polynomicon. And then you would pop this, you would 2, you would auto, and then you would 2 again instantly, and then you would auto, you would double polyprocs. It gets deep, right? This is just a fun, exciting build. I think this is more just being like, if you want to play creatively and have fun, this is something you would build. And then we get to the last build, which I think is going to be pretty core until they nerf Sunbeam Bow, is going to be Bumba Spear, which is going to give you close range AoE autos similar to Golden Blade. It's going to give you extra damage on auto attack as well, 75 true damage. Then we're going Braggies, which is a hybrid, strength and intelligence, and it's giving you more damage on your autos based on your level. Then Sunbeam Bow, another hybrid statted item, a lot of attack speed. It's going to give you give your autos ranged, not make your autos ranged. It's going to add every time you auto these ranged little rockets or whatever you want to call them shooting off the side. And it does a lot of damage. So this will be a very strong item for you when you're auto attacking. The range part really doesn't matter that much to you. Then you're going to XC for pen, Kins for more auto attack damage. Then we're getting tanky, hybrid tanky. Shifter Shield give you prots, health, and the passive is either going to give you more prots or give you more strength. I think it also gives intelligence. And then Berserker Shield is another hybrid style item where you're getting defense stats, you're getting a lot of attack speed, and then you're getting the passive, which is going to give you more prots, more attack speed when you're lower. The thing is, as soon as you have these 2 items, you can kill pretty much anybody. These 3 items, you can kill anybody plus a tank. And then these 4 items, you can insta-kill anyone. This is going to be with like any auto attack god. All of these will feel this, definitely. So I want to grab that build that we were talking about. So we're going to grab all the auto attack items. I think this is right now the most fun, but I did really heavily enjoy going into the intelligence build just because slamming as like a mage Nemesis is such a strange feeling, and it doesn't even feel right. It just feels fun. So I have laid out, imagine this is a team of 5. I realize that might be difficult for you to follow, But imagine that. I'll even do this and say, set team. I'll spawn, boom, another one, right? So that's my team. This is the enemy team. You never ever, as any jungler, want to engage a fight head on. So this would be your solo laner, this would be their support, that would be their jungler, and this would be their two carries, their mage and their hunter, right? You never in your life are engaging in a straight line ever as a jungler, and I feel like it's been said, maybe I haven't made a full guide on how to enter a fight, but it's been said, never do that. Your goal as a jungler 99% of the time is to engage unseen. You want them to react to you. You don't want them to be ready, prepared, and know when it's going to happen and already have the reaction set in their mind. You want them to be like, oh, jungler's on me, what do I do, right? So ideally, you are flanking or side flanking whenever going in, right? That is why wards are very important. You drop counter wards wherever you are, so you know you're not on a ward, you know they don't have vision. But the secondary part of this is being on the other side of the jungler, unless you want to fight him. So if you want to fight this jungler, you would be on that side of the loop and looking for him and trying to take a 1v1. If you're not, and your main goal, your main target is this backline, this mage or this hunter, you will almost always side flank. It is really hard to come in from behind. That positioning requires a lot of practice and timing, and you have to know how the team fight is going, because if you go for a reverse loop, so you're coming up behind them and they're pushing forward into your team and your team is losing a 4v5 because you've gone for this positioning, you will lose the fight for your team. It is far more consistent and requires less skill and less game knowledge to enter from a side gank. Obviously, we are not in the jungle on the Conquest map, but the Conquest map has millions of gaps. It has walls for you to get over. It has all kinds of ways for you to loop and get on the side of people, especially on objectives like Fire Giant, Gold Fury, millions of ways. So ideally, you want to come in from the side and you want to target the squishy target. You know, if you have a primary target, go on that person. If you don't, you want to go on the closest one and get the jump on them 100% of the time. Now, for Nemesis, since we were going over Nemesis's kit, you're looking for an ult engage every single time, okay? You are not looking to engage with your combat blink unless it is necessary. The thing with your ultimate is it will give you movement speed. So if I ult this Ymir, I don't know. They did something here really weird. Anyway, so ult Ymir, you get the movement speed, you're able to catch up, right? Your 2 is also going to give you a slow. So in reality, you want to hold this 2. You want to use your ultimate to get onto your target, get off some auto attacks. As they start to run away, that's when you want to use your 2, get off some auto attacks, and you're going to use your 3 to either avoid damage, so it'll reflect the damage and take it for you. So if you're about to get hit by a big mage ability, whatever, that's when you're going to use your shield. If you are not taking damage and you have a free kill, you're using this for an auto attack reset. So when you're playing Nemesis, if you auto, I'm not gonna lie, with an auto attack build, it's gonna be way more difficult for you. It does work, but your attack speed's so high that I wouldn't focus so much on it. But what you'll do, if you aren't running an auto attack speed build, or if you have this locked down, when you auto 3, it'll auto again instantly. You can't even see it with this attack speed, but it's an instant auto. So if you auto, as soon as you see the auto hit the god, you pop your 3 and another auto will go off very, very quickly. No break in between. It won't be a pause. This is a perfect ability for auto attack canceling and learning it. Then you're going to use your dash to catch up to your target, or use your dash to move around and get away from people that are trying to do damage for you. And then you want to use that combat blink to either chase targets if you're winning the fight, or disengage. A lot of the time, this combat blink will be your savior. It'll be how you live. So just an example, if this is a hunter and they're coming over to CC me, I might blink past them and be on the other side at the second they use their CC to avoid it, right? And then I'm back on my target, killing them, going, just W king. Or if you kill your target right away and everyone turns on you because you're behind by yourself, you might look to combat blink back through to your team, back to where your mirror would be, or off to the sides. It sounds very basic to me. I realize I have a ridiculous amount of hours in this game, but I see it every time I play. Every single time I play, even at the highest level, I see junglers and squishy people try to fight their way through all of this to get to the back line, or just present themselves, hey, I'm here, get ready for me. And to do that, not only does it change the whole engage, you're gonna end up using that combat blink to get in, right? Like it literally changes everything. So if you're trying to get to this squishy and you're in front of them, first of all, they know you're coming. So this whatever god, this carry has their CC ability ready to go, their damage ability ready to go on you. They are looking at you. They know you want to go on them. So if you do something like this and you blink in, I'm still got 3 feet to go before I even get to this god. So even if I blink and open with my ult right away, I'm getting hit with damage from both of these targets and I'm dead. I'm not gonna live. It's not gonna happen. If you're far enough ahead, you might be able to do some dumb stuff like that. I have tons of videos where that happens, but it's not a realistic way to play the game. The realistic way to play the game is the side engage. It's to get in that ultimate, get on top of them. You can even dash in here, by the way, if you're looking. So you could ult and dash in if you want the instant engage, and then use your shield, and then you're just going. Like you're literally just running through them. And with a build like this auto attack build, you will shred everybody, especially with your ult. You're sitting on a lot of ped once you get your auto attacks going. It hits very, very hard. It is a fun build. This lacks cooldown though, so you really need to realize once you engage, you're engaged. The only way out is your combat blink. This is your savior, and your combat blink is far more valuable to you than a beads or an Aegis. You need to hope you have teammates that are building, you know, beads. If they have beads targets, you know, avoid those abilities, whatever it may be. The biggest step further that I can teach you is when you are looking for this engage, ideally you don't engage first. This is, in my mind, maybe not next level. Like, I'm not going to overhype this. I'm not going to oversell this, but it's not as easy as it sounds. You need to engage on these two once their front line have started the fight and are committed. So you have to be able to judge, are they just hovering and waiting to see how this plays out, or have they fully engaged? You need to be able to tell what abilities have gone off. Has the Poseidon in the back line used Kraken or Whirlpool? Has the Izanami dashed in yet, used her ultimate? Like, what abilities are down, and have this front line engaged? If the answer is yes, you're looking to go in. If the abilities are down, you are looking to go in. If neither of those are happening, you are still hovering and just kind of hiding and waiting it out and being very, very patient. But you need to be in a position to instantly engage the second your teammate gets attacked, because if you don't, first of all, your teammates are going to think you're not playing the game. I already know it. You already know it. They're going to start yelling and crying. So you don't want that. You want to avoid that. You want to win. And the second thing is, there is a good chance that if you take even a second or two too long, someone dies. Your front line dies, which allows for their front line to back up to help their back line right when you engage. So you have to do this in a timely manner. You ideally know where their jungler is if you've warded, and kind of like, you want to counter ward your side where you're going to be, and you want some regular vision on the other side to know where their jungler is. And outside of that, it doesn't get any deeper. I promise you, it doesn't get any deeper. You could watch every Nemesis game I have on YouTube and see when it's a closer game or a real game, this is what I'm doing. I'm looping on Gold Fury. I'm looping on Fire. If they're fighting at a lane, I'm trying to come in from the side of the lane. I very, very rarely am just walking into them. It is a terrible way to play the game. So that's positioning. Nemesis should mainly be played in jungle. There's an argument to be made, maybe solo, but I think Nemesis just gets bullied in solo for the most part. So you're going to want to play Nemesis in the jungle all the time. That is why I am talking about this the way I am. You can run a bruiser Nemesis for sure. And the only thing that would change with a tankier build than this is you have to worry less about this side engage and more about just getting onto the back line, however you decide to do that. Side engages are always better though. Even for solo laners, if they could engage from the side to start the fight, it's a really big deal rather than running through everybody to get to the back line. Okay. So builds, role, positioning for team fights. I want to do a jungle guide for you guys, because I'm sure most comments or most people initially are gonna be like, well, where do I start in the jungle? If you watch my videos, just the first 2 minutes of every video, you can see how I start. I have been doing a speed buff start to my backs, to the mid lane, to the middle camp. Okay. Problem with this is, or maybe not the problem, the way the game works right now, anybody can start anywhere. That is not the start. You could ward their side of the map, see where their jungler is starting, and invade the opposite side, right? So if they ward you and know you're starting speed, they can start your red. And then they could do their red and do their speed if you don't have ward. And then the flip side, if you both ward, you can evade each other's buffs. And it could be a completely trade out wash, and everyone knows what's happening if they've warded, right? The game is not set up for this is the perfect start. However, they've shown off some map changes coming, I'm assuming in January, so a month from when I'm making this video. Once that is out, I will make a pure, this is the jungle guide, here's your options type of video. I didn't talk about targeting. I will mention that. I guess I have to mention that. So for Nemesis, you're targeting, and I don't mean in team fights. In team fights, you almost always want to go for the squishies or the jungler, right? Depending on your matchups. You have to learn those on your own. I can't teach those to you. We try to add that stuff to Smite Source. It's only so valuable. Things change. You need to learn how to play matchups. That's from playing the game. That's the fun of the game, is learning it, right? Now, for targeting in ganks, this is something I can help you with. Nemesis has no true lockdown, okay? So if it's a god that requires CC to kill, a lot of this time, this is like solo laners, can be very hard to kill because they have shorter cooldowns, they have their own mobility, they can CC you and get away. Solo laners can be hard to kill, so you have to learn your matchups. If you're looking at the solo lane, you have to know, like, this is a god I can kill, or I can only kill this god if this happens. For an example, Amaterasu before level 5, killable as long as she dashes. If she doesn't dash, you're probably not killing her as Nemesis. It's probably not happening. Reverse, say a Ymir is in the solo lane. The second he uses his stunners too, he's someone you can kill. He has no mobility. He's got no way to go. So a lot of the time for ganks, you're waiting for an ability to be used. Flip side, you go to the duo lane. Most of the time, the support uses their mobility to clear the wave or to poke right away. So they'll open, as soon as the lanes meet, they will open the fight with their leap. So they're killable all the time as Nemesis, especially once you're level 5 on them, because you're shredding their protections. Everybody can kill that person. Secondary, most ADCs can also be killed because that lane is longer. And even with their dashes out, your slows will catch you up to them. But you need to pay attention if they have combat blink. If they have combat blink, you need to expect that coming out, or, you know they're gonna live probably, whatever. Like, if you're trying to burn it and then kill them again later, that's fine. Or if you're not ready for it, they're gonna get out. So solo lane's a little different. Mid lane, I feel like, is the hardest to gank without like nearly impossible to gank without CC. That could be your mid laner having CC. Don't get me wrong, you and your mid laner are part of the skill, but without it, Nem isn't really focused on the mid lane. In the mid lane, its mid lanes are rotating through the jungle, killable all day. But on ganks, you're looking at the side lanes. Nemesis is very good at ganking ADC and support, super easy ganks. And then solo depends on the matchup. So heavily focus more towards duo lane unless you see a more valuable matchup. I'll try to cover that on every god, but it is difficult. It is information that you learn from playing the game and realizing, like, oh, this gank failed. Now, if you're new, it might fail because you misplay. That's the issue. That's where I try to give the information. Everything isn't going to go perfect for you. Have fun learning the game, guys. And if there's any information I'm missing and you want, put it in the comments below. Hopefully this helps you. I realize it's super generic, but in my mind, it seems like that's what's missing right now. I haven't made any of these guides in Smite 2 the way I did in Smite 1 for years and years and years. If this is what you want me to do for every god, every role, I will do it. It will be a lot of work, but me and my editor, we've said if it's something that you guys want and it's valuable to you, I will do it. Just let me know in the comments, please. Hit the like button if this is something you like and you don't want to comment for whatever reason. If you have any questions or you feel like I've missed something or there's something I could cover that would help you, let me know, because I will add it into future videos. Super basic. I feel like there probably is something I'm missing. I wrote down a bunch of stuff like, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need. With the changes coming, I want to be I don't want to get into crazy details, so this becomes relevant, like irrelevant very quickly. If it does become irrelevant, I will make a new video, but I want the overall guide to be, here's Nemesis, here's your builds, smitesource.com if for updated builds. Hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the video later tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.